All right, hey, good morning, guys. I am filming in here because the weather has taken a turn for the worse and it's been storming. And so, yeah, here's a daily devotional. So it's from 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 1 through 9. And I don't know if you've ever wanted something that made total sense, but I don't know, underneath it, it just felt off. In 1 Samuel 8, Israel, they come to Samuel and they say, God, give us a king like all the nations. And honestly, it actually sounds pretty reasonable. Samuel's old, his sons are corrupt, as his text says, and the leadership is failing. And so it seems like, they're not asking for anything crazy. They're asking for things like stability, structure, and security. But God's response, I think, is very revealing. He says, they have not rejected you, Samuel. They have rejected me as their king. And I think that presents this tension for us. So here's the thing, their request, it wasn't just about leadership. What God is saying, it's about trust. They wanted something that they could see. They wanted something that they could control, something that made them feel like everyone else, which was a king. And in doing that, they actually ended up trading away something better, which was a direct relationship with God as their king. Now, this is critical because this is a key juncture point in Israel's history, and we know what happens afterwards. And I think it's a lesson for us and it's something for us to think about because if we're honest, we do the same thing. We don't reject God outright. We just replace him with something that sounds reasonable. And we replace him quietly and layer it with justification. We look for security in things like success, control in things like planning and practicality, identity in things like fitting in. And they're all things that aren't bad. But slowly what happens is they end up taking the place that God should have. And so I think this text, it presents us with this question. Where in your life are you asking for a king because trusting God feels so uncertain? Because the real issue isn't what you're asking for, it's what you're trusting in. And I think sometimes the most dangerous request, the most dangerous exchange that we can make is the ones that make perfect sense. But it actually ends up pulling us away from letting God truly be king in our lives.